Even just a few months ago, this sight would have seemed extraordinary. A masked Prime Minister arriving at Westminster Abbey to be welcomed by masked military and masked clergy. But as the trappings of the pandemic become ever more familiar, the government is concerned compliance with restrictions is diminishing and new national measures may be needed.
The nation faces a tipping point, and we have a choice. And the choice is either that everybody follows the rules, the rule of 6, and the need to self-isolate if you have a positive test or if you're contacted by NHS Test and Trace, or we will have to take more measures.
But the Labour leader says the government should be admitting that its own failings have contributed to the current situation, rather than blaming the public.
Because the government's now effectively lost control of testing, it doesn't necessarily know where the virus is. So, if I was the Prime Minister, I would apologise for the fact that testing is all over the place, and instead of using the summer to prepare for the autumn, which is what we said should happen, we're in this position just when we need testing to be at its very best.
Ministers have spent the weekend examining the options available for new measures, including what's been described as a 2-week circuit breaker lockdown, which could see pubs, restaurants and leisure activities closed for a fortnight to curb the spike in infections. But one leading scientist told Sky News such action could be jumping the gun and should instead be used at a point when the seasonal prevalence of the virus is likely to be more dangerous.
Often when we come back in January, there's a significant rise in deaths in the month of January, about 5,000 per week, more than what we see right now. And that's due to the seasonal effects. Therefore, if you're looking at a break and when we need it in the midwinter when we might run into problems, but actually it would be more explainable to people why we're doing it then than now. There's no evidence right now of what's called a second wave.
These are high-pressure decisions for the Prime Minister. What he does this week could define his political future.
Boris Johnson has set his stall on preventing another full national lockdown. And so to avoid failure by his own metrics, he needs any new measures that are introduced by the government to be effective and to bring case rates down. But that could all be hampered by his own backbenchers, some of whom feel that the existing regulations go too far, and they may yet mount a rebellion in Parliament.
The task for the government is to stem the rise of infections while keeping the public and the Conservative Party on board. Missteps or indecision this week could result in the opposite. Tom Rayner, Sky News, Westminster.